any time I see a commercial this polished for a brand this big. I try and imagine all the little different elements that went into bringing each shot to life. Take this one, for instance. Today, I found out that there was a storyboard, a test shot, a video of the test shot for robotics, a LiDAR scan for robotics. And then they actually shot it and finished it up with a little VFX magic. And that's not even it. I want to thank director Nitram for jumping on with me to share how he made this commercial spot for McDonald's feel so gigantic.
Okay, let's take the position of the camera. Camera is moving. Why do I hear myself? Who has the funk open?
All right, Nitram, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
I want to talk about this amazing piece that you made for McDonald's.
So good you won't leave a crumb behind. Introducing the new McCrispy.
How did you get this job?
So I met 1 year ago a cool production company in Switzerland. So actually I'm living in Brussels now, but I'm from Switzerland, and there I met a really cool production house which is called Hilton, and we did a first small job together, and then once they received this pitch, they just get in touch with me. At first it was more about something having weird position inside a car, looking for something, and then at the end you realize it was just because she had found this little crumb of crisp, and I was like, oh, what about just having kind of small moments of life, kind of, but extend and over dramatized in a way that's crazy. And that's where kind of my idea came from. It's actually just a crumb falling.
That's awesome. So when you got the brief, I mean, just watching this, at first, I don't really know what I'm looking at. It feels like a meteor. And I think also the shots where it's bouncing around the car, I can't really tell what it's bouncing on, even though it feels like it's within the space. I think it's just a really brilliant way that you kind of establish this thing. We don't know what it is, and then the reveal at the end, everything makes sense in that moment. That idea, you said that's something that came from you wrote in the pitch, was not in the brief originally.
Yeah, it was this fall was not in the brief. So I just basically have the idea of leave no crumb behind, and I just love the creative of the people. It was TWA in Switzerland, and they were a really nice team, really open to ideas. So that was really my take on the idea and how we can elevate it to make also even more cinematic, because they were used to do a lot of content, McDonald's Switzerland, but more into a kind of comedy, theatrical way, sitting at a table, nice work, but it was also something a bit new for them, and they wanted to also achieve something a bit more visual. And so I was let's just go full into this one and create this kind of epic CRUMB travel journey, and creating also this sense of recognition of a car, but not that much. It was really in the balance, because if it's too absurd, then it might feel a bit weird because you don't get anything. But if you reveal too much of the car, then it will be also super. You just reveal the whole joke from the beginning. So it was really an in-between.
Yeah, that's a fine balance. I want to get into how you guys end up making it your visual approach, because you've got this idea, you've won the bid, now it comes time to make it. There's all these decisions to make, who your DP is and who you trust with the visuals. Walk me through that process.
Yeah, so that was my first time working with Rokas, which is a Lithuanian DOP that just moved to Switzerland. And because I had this idea of using motion control to have this kind of epic movement and really precise, and also helping with visual effects, because when you have motion control, they can get all the info for tracking. I found like this DOP, I love this work, and he also like work a lot with 3D and motion control, like small robots that we used. So I was like, oh, this is the perfect match. Let's just go for him. I get in touch, and it was super nice. And first, I always do my pass on storyboard. Like I just want to share my vision, and then I share it with him. And it was kind of an abstract way of writing this film, because you don't have like so much references of elements. So it was also a lot about like thinking and just testing like things. I had like this tennis ball and I just like throw in weird like movement and seeing how like can looks towards the camera, and doing all this kind of previews just to imagine, and to also, it's really important when you do CG, just align with everybody on set, because you're talking about something that's quite not really tangible at the way we were prepping the things. So it was really important just to all set and have a cohesive vision so that we can bring this towards the screen.
Yeah. Well, walk me through this a little bit, because here you're with your DP and you guys actually chose to shoot these big macro shots inside the car, right? And not something like a studio.
Yeah, exactly. So that was something from client and agency. They wanted really to have a car, and then we had like this different option, whether it was like buying like a car and just breaking half, but it was a bit like a cost issue, and then it's still hard to recreate light when you take some part of a car, and might be also complicated. I mean, for space, it's always easier, but then it gets trickier for other things. So we decided like just to go with a real car, and quickly it came to mind like we need to use a convertible car, so we can take the roof out. And that was a must because we used a robot. So this is I think it's a Cinebot or something like this, but a small kind of robot, motion control, high speed, that can do all this movement. It was really about like seeing, I mean, we cannot extend the wall of the car. We cannot like do so much of this stuff on this project. So it was really about finding angles that can work just technically, because the arm is kind of a tricky things to understand how it moves. It's not as free as we can imagine, because you have all the gear and just the body of the camera. So here, like the image we see was like during the recce. So it was a lot about placing the camera, doing movement. It was like just on the iPhone, and really nailing the movement. And then it's always two perspective. So first we see actually what is filming, like the DOP, and then it's actually me filming the DOP, filming the scene. It was just for the motion control team, So they get the blocking, and they can also prep. Okay, we're gonna have like the basis of the arm over there, etc.
Oh, so you weren't okay. This BTS is great to have, by the way, but you weren't actually filming the DOP, filming the test shot just for fun. You were doing that to actually show the robot team how you wanted the camera to move through the scene.
I mean, I always regret after shoots because I'm so focused that I don't take enough BTS, but this one was actually not real BTS, but more for something for the team to work on and just see how we imagine the movement. So then they do a scan of the car.
Yeah, this LiDAR scan's pretty sick.
Yeah, actually, it's also nice when you have like simple blocking. It was like a woman inside the car, kind of fixed. then you can really just with an app like do all the 3D scanning of the inside of the car, and then they use that just to modelize it in 3D, place the robots, and test the movement and animate the frame of the movement so that they arrive on set like almost like ready. Obviously, we all know there is always adjustments, but you have a good basis to work on, which is super nice. And I mean, it gains so much time on set, so it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, so it just looks like a lot of moving parts. How many takes did it take to get the one that you guys ended up using?
I think we got like 15, which is kind of okay because I like this feeling. I kind of do a lot of takes because sometimes each department see one things in a take, but it's really important to see that everything is going to work because, I mean, it was just one shot and there's quite a lot of happening. There is the roll. It's getting close to her mouth as she just waved the burger. Obviously, it was also a moment we need like to nail also the food because we don't see that much of food during this commercial except from this kind of crispy crumb.
Oh, right.
But that was a bit the pack shot. So it took quite some while because also it's quite scary. You know, you have this kind of probe lens going super close to your face. It's always easier in reverse because it's getting away from you and not into you, which is always a bit less scary. So that helps. But yeah, it was quite tough. And I took always the option like just to redo the window in post. You know, you see this little like bouncing of the glass. Obviously, that was done in post just to get like the most proximity like and closeness to the mouse when we go out with the probe. So that was something really important.
This shot would not be what it is without you being able to get that close to her. What about this reflection of the McDonald's sign in the window? Is that real?
Yeah, so actually this is plates. I love shooting plates, you know. You do like, they will do the reflection, some kind of basic texture. And then with the VFX guy, Mark, we went to another McDonald's because they were different sign and we had like to also align with the clients and the agency. And we had like this nice, like very simple sign. And then we took some photograph of it. Just to have
interesting. So it is actually filmed, but not on this location.
Yeah, exactly. Photographs.
This final logo at the end. Was that your call? I feel like it's kind of double. You know, we're seeing two of the same thing.
Yeah, actually, that's a funny question because it was a big conversation also with some production company because I was like, I like the subtleness of the M, but some people just didn't feel it. Like when I first like show them the commercial, and it was like, okay, but we're waiting a bit for something, you know, because I didn't want it like to have the usual jingle. I wanted to be really more like subtle and minimal. But then I was like, okay, this is kind of doubling it, but it's still a commercial. So I have to be like kind of shy of it. And sometimes you see like fake commercials or people doing like spec work or even just wanting to shy away from what they do. So I'm not that, I mean, I just did a McDonald's commercial. Here it is. And it's really stupid, like I would say it, but I think it's really important also just to be aware of what you do kind of. And I mean, it's still a commercial.
Yeah.
You want to do a short film, then do a short film, and then you don't have a brand, and I will do some, so it's also cool. And
I think that's a really smart way of looking at it, because at the end of the day, you're selling McDonald's. It's a McDonald's commercial. You know, it's like a brilliant idea and beautifully cinematic, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we need to know what this is for, and having that second logo and that does it. want to talk about what is VFX, because there's what you walk away with on the day in camera, and then there's the things that you do to make it, to enhance it, to make it all feel real. What are some of those things?
So if we see the first shot, so when the CRUMB is locked on the camera, so we shoot the backplate. So the backplate was just a boom down, kind of wide angle lens inside the camera, inside the car. Sorry. So we took off the roof and just did a boom down. We didn't add a dolly on this day. I mean, we went full motion control, so it was just a motion control boom down. But it was kind of hard to imagine because it was just the references. So you see a bit of the leather on the right corner of the car, but then they warp it in post, because if it's too wide and you don't have a sense of space and speed, and the distance are so short. Here we kind of over dramatized the situation, so we also needed to overextend the space as well. So it was just about feeling something you never know, not really sure about at the beginning. And then they actually do the CRUMB in CG. So it was Mark, the VFX guy, who was like kind of really good about like creating textures and materials. And it was a cool process because at first, so he tried to scan actual CRUMB, but it's always like this, you know, when you imagine taking something and then you say, oh, we're just going to scan it. It doesn't feel like a CRUMB. It feels sometimes a bit gross, and it's really about like sculpture kind of. So he decided just to sculpt it like out of scratch. I had some references with AI. I did just to get like inspired by what can a minimal CRUMB on the thumb can look like, and it was a bit the starting point, developing like this further.
Yeah, I mean, so help me understand, like, what are we actually looking at here? You said it was sculpted.
Yeah. So the first shot is really the CRUMB like did on like 3D, then having layer of texture and of light, and then they add also all this ambient smoke, which was actually my take, because it was kind of weird to have something fall in a car, and because of the distance, like I said, and having a layer of smoke just helps kind of feeling atmosphere and feeling something is really moving fast and rushing towards the floor.
The way that you made this CRUMB feel so big and epic and larger than life is a huge part of this piece. But I think another piece of it is these. I mean, what really grabbed me was just her expression and how big and also larger than life she feels in these scenes. Can you tell me about how you approached those?
Yeah. So it was really about big emotion in close-ups. So that was kind of from the beginning also something in my treatment, and having these two worlds like kind of colliding, you know, this big CRUMB on one hand and on the other, the emotion. And you don't first link it too much together. Still, you feel it's the same space, but it's not like coming together until the end. So it was really about like casting people that can do basically just like a raise of eyebrow, something subtle with the eye, but super expressive eye. And I always love working with people that just can grab your attention with just looking at you or doing a very subtle move with your eye. So we went to a lot of casting, and then it was mostly about how to capture, you know, this emotion. And that's where we decided to shot mostly 90 frames per second. So we get like a kind of a range just to make it bigger and playing with speed ramps. That was really important because the ad is quite short, so you need to be quite efficient in terms with emotion and having this kind of crescendo.
Yeah, what is? I'm just
very...
looking at the BTS you sent me. What shots were you getting with this lens here?
So this one was a shot of the CRUMB falling down. So it's a static plate. So that's the CRUMB where you see it like falling towards the camera. This is actually this shot. Really abstract. We shot it obviously full in focus, and then they recreate the blur in post, so you have a bit more range as well. But what I usually do is I also do a take with a real out of focus kind of doing on camera. So you have also reference for post, because I always find that like a real blur from camera is always nicer than CG blur.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're shooting one full clarity, no motion blur. No, and then are we talking about like lens blur or motion blur that you get two options of?
I mean, I think we tried both. We also like changed a bit the shutter on this one just to have a few options. I kind of like shooting a few different plates as well for this kind of shot. So then hopefully, I don't know what they used at the end, but hopefully like the VFX team can do a mismatch, you know, and having good references also of out of focus part and just recreate something, but with reference from something real, which is always nicer for this kind of things.
How did you guys shoot this shot?
So this was honestly one of the trickiest one, because imagine having like the robot and a hand moving together, like kind of locked on each other, but without any rig, you know. So it was about nailing the speed. So this, I think we did like 30 takes on this one, and the slow motion helps, and the duration of the shot as well. So, you know, at some point the camera was going a bit faster and she slowed down a bit. But once she gets used to, I mean, the camera do all the time the same. So it's really about adapting yourself to the camera movement. And yeah, working also in the details. Like I love, you know, you have the rings, the nails. It's this little layers also that I love to add just to make the shot interesting and have personality, because I mean everybody got like something, maybe like bracelet, necklace, and I always love to work with that also, just catching the small reflection.
What about the soundtrack? The soundtrack pairs so well with it. Did you create that before shooting?
Actually, I tested a few things during edits. So there was like the epic kind of vibe, a bit more galactic, you know, feeling like a meteorite falling down Earth. And I was like, okay, it's working well, it's nice, but it's maybe nice to try something different. And then I found, okay, this is a really cliche music. That is also used quite a lot, but I was like, okay, I think with this one it can be a nice counterpoint kind of, and really bring also the humor and the quirkiness of the spots to something different. Also, yeah, so this is a director's cut, this one, but the client version is not much like different. I think like it was really about having their range of burger at the end, obviously, because they're still selling burgers. So that was like mostly the difference, but the rest was almost quite the same.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you gotta love it when the director's cut and the client cut are pretty similar. They match up.
Yeah, and I think that's what we all want. But sometimes, you know, clients have also other things that we as director are a bit less aware of. So, I mean, it's also fair enough that something is different, but I feel like it's also nice when you get to to share the same projects from start to finish, and still having a pretty similar version is so also so cool just to have.
Yeah, my previous guest, Jackson TC, we actually just talked a bunch about this. And his approach is to, what did he say? He said, my director's cut is the delivery of whatever the treatment says. That's him following up on his promise of what they bought, what they signed off on. But then while he's shooting, like, he makes sure that he also delivers and is okay with them doing whatever they need to do with it, because they have so many other deliverables that they have to be responsible for. And he never gets too precious over what they need to do with the thing that he originally envisioned. But his director's cut is his way of expressing that.
Yeah, and I think it's really clever idea also, because even when I'm on set, like, and sometimes you're asked to shoot something else that might be a bit off from the things, but I just don't want to waste time in argumenting. I say, okay, we can shoot it, but then we can test it in the edit. And then, because also I'm involved in the edit, I can see, okay, this was a nice idea, but I think it still worked best to just stick with the other option. But I mean, they're still paying also for their film, so I think it's fair enough just them to have a bit of choice and feel, and it's a collaboration. So it's really important for me just to work like this. And once I think you do that, it's opened so much space, because it's not like, oh no, I'm not gonna shoot this. We really need to stick to that. No, I'm like, okay, we can shoot this, and then we can see. And sometimes you have also good surprise. So it's
I think if the job of a director was as simple as coming up with ideas, I think it would be a very different job than what it is now. Because I mean, like, we can all come up with ideas, but the diplomacy skills needed in order to make your vision, what's in your head, come to light, come true, I think it's a whole nother skill set needed, no?
Yeah, exactly. And there's still fight that you need to really kind of have, but it's not just for the sake of it. It's mostly about because you believe in something that is really important, and this you have really to stick to that. But it's not about having this on every little decision, every little things. It's really about like having a balance and doing compromise. On set, you can do compromise, but knowing that you will have the materials not to compromise in the edit, and push your vision and have it until the end. So it's really important to stick to that as well.
Well, Nitram, thanks so much for jumping on and breaking this piece down with me. It's great to hear from you. I love your work. I'm sure we'll be talking about it again.
Thanks so much, Dylan. It was super nice having this talk with you. And keep up the good work with Frameset, and see you soon.
This show is made possible in part by viewers like you, and obviously Frameset, which is where you go to develop your ideas before you shoot them. Search for the perfect references and use them to build a pitch that will win you the project of your dreams. It's also totally free to get started, so check the link below. Okay, thank you.